Hey, what's up, everybody? I am doing a live stream. I'm going to try to do one almost every single day of making this video game. Yeah, so basically, right now what I'm trying to do is, let me see, let me show you actually. Shrink down my screen here. Okay. All right, there we go. So I'm trying to get the knockback function working correctly. I'm trying to get it to where, hold on a second, let me go to the level. I don't want the music to play right now. So when the player attacks the slime over here, it's supposed to knock him backwards, but right now I'm getting an error. If I get rid of this and I get rid of that and I get rid of that, and I get rid of this, the knockback function will work, but there's still a problem. So yeah, it works, but like you see, like I don't know how to stop that problem. So what I think I need to do is I need to get the velocity from the sword and the velocity of the enemy. Because instead of just doing a negative velocity times the knockback power, which it's on the enemy. So this script is just on the slime. So maybe it might make more sense if I were to put the knockback feature on the player, like on the sword. But I think this could work too. Let's see. So I'm trying to think, like, what is a good way to consistently get him to go the opposite direction of the sword swing. Maybe, what if I got the velocity of the sword? Is that possible? Can you get the velocity from another script? Right, like that's possible. Yeah, get node. So I think I would say I'd have to go to this over here to the player script. Onto the player node, and I would have to grab the velocity of the sword. So I don't know if I need to do the same thing I did here and type in get node. Is there another function here? Let's see, fetches a node. The node path can be either a relative path from the current node or an absolute path in the scene tree to a node. If the path does not exist, null is returned and an error is logged. Attempts to access methods on the return value will result in an attempt to call on a null instance. Okay. Assume your character node, or assume your current node is character in the following tree. Okay. Possible paths. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so if I go to enemy, let's see, I think I should move this over a little bit, maybe. Okay. Okay. So let's do onReady. Variable sword is equal to get underscore node. See, import scenes. I think it would be if I were to go to level 1, then I were to go to player. No, okay. So I gotta do it from here then. Can I do that? Weapon sword. No, it's not how you do it. So root, and then I guess it would be player, and then I think it would be sword, but I don't know if I had to hit weapon first because it's the sword is a child of the weapon. And then okay, so I have to look at this girl's code really quick. Okay, here, I'll put it on the big screen so you guys can see it too really quick. Okay, yeah, so this is what she has. Like, she's using the enemy velocity for hers and minusing it to the velocity of whatever the script is attached to. In this case, the player for her game. Oh. And then in the knockback function, when she calls it, she's saying that whoever hits and activates the knockback function, she's saying to get the velocity of whatever hits the thing that activates the knockback function. And then so she calls, so like when the function is called, this bit of information, the velocity of whatever hits the knockback area, it goes into the function here, into the enemy velocity in this case. And she marked it as a vector too. So then, you know, and then she makes a knockback direction equal enemy velocity. So, you know, the information travels down into here. So what I think I need to do is this, but instead of doing get parent velocity, I need to do the sword velocity. And I'm trying to think of how would I grab that particularly. So, I mean, I feel like it should work as is like that. Because if you're getting... Wait a second. Well, how she has it working here is it's on the player. So if it's getting the velocity of the enemy when the enemy walks into the person, so why would my code break if my enemy is getting the parent from the sword hitting him? That doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe there's no velocity for the sword because it's not like a character 2D. Like, I guess what I mean by that is, like with the enemies, you know, like they are, like if you add a node, and you come down here to, where's it at? It's not sprite 2D. Where's the little dude? It's like character 2D or something. Maybe I gotta create like a new thing. 2D scene, 2D node. Character body, yeah, character body 2D. It has a physics body. So maybe because the sword doesn't have a physics body, that's why it's breaking? Because the sword is just a node, and this is just an area. So maybe... Is there a way to grab the velocity of an area? Or even maybe the direction? Can I grab the like where the impact of the sword hits causes a deflection or causes a repulsion, you know? So would I need to get the direction then? So my thing is why does it, like if you hit him once, he goes backwards, but if you hit him twice before he has a chance to like recuperate, he comes forward. Like, shouldn't he continue just going backwards? But then I look at this lady's code, and she says the area get parent velocity. What is area get parent velocity? So if I come up here and I say area, what does that mean? How comes it's not taking me to like the manual? Like, shouldn't I be able to hold control or something like that? And shouldn't I be able to like see what it means? What the heck? I don't get why it works sometimes and then stops. See, it's working for this, but it won't do it for here. Like, okay, I guess that's cool. Okay. So then I guess if I can't do it here, then let me do it here then. Area. Doesn't work. Area. Let's see, area 2D dot. Pause, ready notification, process, no. All right, let's just try normal area. Yeah. Dot. Not distance, no. Area dot sword. We could try the sword. Area dot sword. And then the girl did underscore, or was it dot get parent? Oops. Dot get parent. Yep. Dot get parent. Something like that. Underscore between get and parent. Dot velocity. And then sword velocity. And then let's double check. Oh yeah, I gotta identify it as a vector too. For some reason, not sure why yet, but that's what they did. And then I think I just have to do, yeah, okay. So sword velocity minus velocity normalized. Knock my car. I think this might work. I'm not super confident about it, but I'm not terribly pessimistic about it either. Okay, here we go. Nope, and it breaks right here for some reason. It says invalid, get index sword on base area 2D. Okay, so maybe, how did I get this? Where did this come from? Level 1. So like, okay, so I actually copied the node path. Okay, so we want to copy this node path, which is copy node path. Just weapon sword. Okay. Maybe this will work now that we have the right node path. No, Invalid get index. Node not found relative to root level 1 enemy. Okay, yeah, because you're right. It's actually root player weapon sword, I guess, is what it would be. Whoops. Dang, it's still not working. The errors are still the same. Node not found. It's not found to relative to root level 1 enemy. Yeah, I know. Area sword. Get node. Node not found. So if I were to go to level 1, and I'd be like, yo, fucking get this node right here. And then I'd go back to the enemy. And then I paste this node. And it says player. So that's definitely not it. How did I end up finding this one? Root level 1 player. And what is that doing? Where am I using the player? Player.global position. Root level 1. Copy node path. But then it just comes up as a dot. And there's a way to get the node path, and I forget how. Let me look it up. Get node returns a reference to the desired node. When using money symbol notation, the Godot editor will autocomplete paths for you. You can also right-click on a node in the scene tab and choose copy node path. From another scene, I guess. If a script has access to a node in another scene, it can call get node on that node to get a unique set of nodes from the node scene. Okay, but why is this in the way? Can I close this? What the heck? This is what's going on. Okay. This is really weird. Why is the screen only coming up like this? Did I hit a button? No. How do you get a node path in Godot 4? If the script on main needs access to score label, it can do so with this path. What if the node you want to access is higher in the tree? To get the player node from the score label, The above examples all use relative paths, meaning they start at the current node and follow the path to the destination. Node paths can also be absolute, starting from the root node of the scene. While the above examples work just fine, there are some things you should be aware of that may cause problems later. Imagine the following situation. The player node has a health property, which you want to display in a health bar node somewhere in your UI. You might write something like this in the player script. While this may work fine at first, it is brittle, meaning it can break easily. There are two main problems with this kind of arrangement. You can't test the player scene independently. If you run the player scene by itself or in a test scene that doesn't have a UI, the get node line will cause a crash. You can't change your UI. If you decide to rearrange or redesign your UI, the path will no longer be valid and you have to change it. Okay, this doesn't necessarily explain what I'm trying to do. Okay, I've been trying to get the node of the player from the script. I want to get information on the player's node's position for the enemy script. Here are the screenshots showing how the nodes are ordered. If I'm not wrong, from the enemy script, I should use a @onReady variable player equals get parent dot get node player. But for some reason, it keeps running null. There are lots of different ways. Okay. Structure your scenes and codes so that they are not dependent on the existence of other nodes. Not always, but possible, but probably the most ideal approach when it is. How do you do this is entirely dependent on your game and what you're doing. You can use groups, add player to player group, and find it in enemy script variable player. I don't like this. I feel like this is trying to tell me, but I can't see it because of the UI. Like, how do I fix this? Why is there this big blank piece of stuff over here? There's no like horizontal bar. I can try to like do this. This would work. Why is it not working? Why is my screen all weird? How to find a node path in Godot 4 from another scene. If a script has access to a node in another scene, it can call get node. Right. This also works in a node path, which avoids multiple get node calls. Here are two ways to get the hilt node from another. Okay. Why? Okay, so what am I under right now? Scene. Okay, scripting core features. Okay, let's go to the actual website. What is it called? Godot Documents. Nodes. It's under scene unique nodes, under scripting. It's under manual too. Core features. Access as unique name, I think, is what I need. So if I go to the player, and I access as unique name, go back to the enemy, and then from here, I believe this node can be accessed from with anywhere in the scene by preceding it. Revoke unique name. Okay, using getNode to reference nodes from a script can sometimes be fragile. Here are the results of getNode calls inside the player script. Right, these are all inside the player script though. If a script has access to a node in another scene, it can call getNode on that node to get scene unique nodes from that node's scene. This also works in a node path, which avoids multiple getNode calls. Here are two ways to get the hilt node from the player script using scene unique nodes. GetNode returns the hilt node. Hand, sword, hilt. Scene unique names don't only work at the end of a node path. They can be used in the middle to navigate from one node to another. For example, the sword node is marked as a scene unique node in the player scene. So this is possible. Okay, so if I were to do access as unique name, and then I think if I copy this path, right, and then I just go like boom, and then I say what percentage over here? Yeah, percentage. Yeah, that should work. So getNode percentage. Alright, so let's try that then. Which it might not work because it is an area. It's not a physics thing. Yeah. Can I do the direction? Cause okay. Player. Okay, we disconnected there for a second, but we're all good now. If global position dot distance. Okay, so I can get the global position dot distance, or the global disposition. And the position of the enemy, and I minus them? I think that could work. So like if I were to say knockback, man, knockback is swords global position. Does that work? Can I do a global position? Something tells me that's not gonna work. I mean, if that works, then I'm just too good. Yeah, I didn't think so. Node not found. Really? It's saying node not found. But I'm getting the player node. So how is node not found? Relative. Well, let's say I use the player. Let's say I do the player position. You know, maybe that'll work. Which that'll be weird, but oh, it's lagging. Okay, that works. I think I should look up code for knockback feature in Godot 4. How to add knockback. A knockback is just an additional velocity vector you add to your regular velocity vector of your character over a short period of time. For example, in your character script, have a vector 2D called knockback, which is vector 200 by default. Right before you apply your velocity to the move and slide method, you add the knockback to the regular velocity. Right before you apply your velocity to the move and slide method. However, because the knockback vector was 0 from the beginning, with nothing will change. But as soon as the character enters an area, you check if the body entering is the character with a knockback, and if so, set the knockback to the direction from the area to the character. Because you lerp the knockback back to 0, the knockback will be active only for a short period of time. Of course, you can do this with a lot of more sophistication using timers, curves, and whatnot, but simply lerping the vector back to 0 is the easiest, most straightforward approach I can think of. Well, okay. Okay, so maybe I could just look at the code and find the knockback feature.
Okay. Welcome to part 4 of my Legend of Zelda series. I'm going to have a little bit of information about the delay in the description, but whatever. Anyway, in this video we're going to add knockback. At the end of the video, only the player will take knockback, but the code we write will work the same for other entities once the player has a method of actually dealing damage to them. We're also going to handle health and enemy death once we have that. But anyway, first we have to create hitboxes. Hitboxes for both the player and the Stalfos, and we're also going to have to add this for every future entity that we add. So create an area 2D and name it hitbox. Add a child node and add a collision shape 2D. Set the shape to rectangle and set the extents.
Alright, I know how to do all this stuff.
Of the player's collision shape. So
okay, collision boxes. Yeah.
PostScript, except instead of doing something when the timer hits 0, we're going to have stuff happening anytime it isn't 0. So anytime the timer is ticking down, that means the entity is currently in hit stun, which is when it's going to be taking knockback and not be able to take damage. Now we're going to have a called Noctur, which works the same as Movedir, but we're only going to be using it when taking knockback. I didn't want to just use Movedir with knockback because it kind of conflicts with some stuff with picking random directions and Stalfos and stuff. It's just easier and it's more readable. And finally, we're going to have a health variable.
Okay.
This doesn't matter right now. We're not actually going to have anything die right now when it reaches 0 health. But we're just going to have it so we don't have to change too much stuff in our damage loop later. So let's make that damage loop. New function, damage loop. First, we're going to have the hit stun timer tick down. So if hit stun is greater than 0, hit stun minus equal 1. That works like the Stalfos timer. Now, this next bit's going to be all the knockback damage stuff. For body in $hitbox.get overlapping bodies. Okay, so this takes our hitbox node that we just made in the player and Stalfos. It runs get overlapping bodies. This returns a list of every kinematic body or static body that the hitbox is colliding with. And this whole statement is going to run the next code for every body in that list. So, next we're going to have a big if statement.
What?
If
What is that doing?
body that the hitbox is colliding with, and this whole statement is going to run the next code for every body in that list. So, next we're going to have a big if statement.
Okay. I don't know if I need
This
that.
one is 0, and body get damage is not null, and body get type is not type. So, what this is the first part basically only does this if hit stun is 0. So if we're not currently in hit stun. Second part, get damage. Every body that has a damage variable will be able to deal damage to anything as long as it has something called damage in it. And this last part, body get type is not equal to type. That's going to check if the entity is of a certain type, and we're going to have enemy and player. And as long as they're not the same type, this code will work. So,
Man, this guy has a whole different kind of code than me. Okay, well maybe I could just take some parts of it or something.
Default type to enemy. Or deal.
I feel like this
deal
is.
one damage only to the
I feel
player.
like this is too much. And this is a 22-minute tutorial. Maybe I should ask ChatGPT. ChatGPT. How to create a knockback function in knockback function when swinging a sword at an enemy in Godot 4. Okay. Dang. Alright, on the player's script. If input action is press, play swing animation, check for collision with enemy. If is colliding, variable knockback direction, enemy's global position. Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. Global position and normalized. Dot normalize. Enemy apply impulse. Enemy dot set underscore stunned to true. Oh. Handle stun behavior. Okay. I don't really want to add a stunned effect. So I think this will work right here. Knockback direction. So if I okay, so knockback direction is equal to, I don't think we're gonna need this. I don't think we're gonna need this. Variable knockback direction, sword velocity minus velocity dot normalized times knockback power. So this person is using the enemy, so I guess it would be the player, or if anything, it would be the swords dot global position. So let's delete all this stuff. I don't know if I need this now. Sword dot global dot, is it underscore? I don't know if it's underscore or what. Yeah, it is underscore position minus global position. That could be the knockback direction. And normalized, I don't know what normalized does yet. I know like everybody uses it, but I'm not sure what it's for. Returns the result of scaling the vector to unit length, equivalent to velocity divided by velocity. I don't really know what that means, but okay. Yeah, let's test it out. Okay. We are getting the not able to find the node. So there, okay, but we found the player. So what's the big deal with this? Do I need to get the player too? Because I think I might need to get the player as well. And I can't make it a unique. Slash root slash. I'm not sure how to access it, honestly. So where's this node path? What does that look like? It says dot. Well, I'll just type in player first. See how that works. Also, hold on, maybe. Root, okay. Let's try it. Let's try it. Same thing. Root level 1. So yeah, in level 1, I guess there is no thing there. Which I guess we almost need to go here. Because we're trying to get... We're coming not from... Okay, so we're... I mean, I could just do it like this, because... Okay, if you look at level 1, it says root level 1 player. So if I go to the enemy script, and I say root... I say player... And then I say... player, and then I say weapon, and then I say sword. I think that might be right. Because the sword has a position. Dang. Why is it not working? Maybe I gotta do the percentages here? Maybe I need to watch that 20-minute video. Man. Weapon, sword. And like that doesn't work because we've already tried that. Do I need to get rid of the root? Oh, wait a second. It's not going to work. Now, I wonder if the only reason that it's able to grab the player node is because on level 1 these things are connected. So it's like the enemy and the player are connected. But the sword is in the player. So maybe I just need... Maybe I don't need all that. Maybe what I need to do actually is... I need to type in... player dot player dot something, man. Oh my god, there's so, look at how far. Holy crap. Player dot. Can I do weapon? Is that in there? No. Let's just try to do the player position, even though that's like not what we need. I feel like it'll work though, because like, watch when I go, see, at least he constantly like, okay, I mean, we're kind of getting there, but I just need the sword, man. If I could just get the... Okay, maybe I need this. Maybe that's what I need. So maybe we should do on ready variable sword equal to get node. Sword. Okay. Now if I type in sword global position, maybe. Now it says cannot find. So it can't find the sword. So I'm thinking then, if in the player on ready weapon, so my thing is, I don't know how to even word that question, because I need to grab a node within a scene that's nested within inside of a node within a node. Maybe I can type that in. How to grab a node nested within a node in Godot 4. How to get a nested child node without using full path. Accessing a child node from instance scene. Access nested node using get node. I'm trying to access the collision shaped 2D node that is nested inside a kinematic body 2D, but I keep getting a casting error every time I try. The first get node to access the kinematic 2D works, but get node for child collision shape causes a runtime error. Despite being named collision shape 2D, the icon on the node looks like a collision polygon 2D. To me, instead, perhaps you changed the node's type and forgot to rename it. Huh? Collision shape 2D. Despite being named collision shape 2D, the icon on the node looks like a collision polygon 2D. Oh. Get node. So that should work then. But it won't work because man. What is considered best practice to access child nodes? How to get the path from a nested node at runtime. For each node that is a member of the items G group, if they do not already have a script attached, attach a script and define a member variable that references the label node. What? If you want to get a node without knowing the path, just .find node name. If you want to get a node from anywhere, just do get node. This is the standard way of doing it. If you want to get a node from a singleton, okay. Copy error. Maybe if I just paste in my error. Node not found. Try to use signals instead of direct method calls. If it's not a child, it's better to set it up as an export node. Getting a node outside of your children is very brittle. This may or may not be a problem, but I had a similar problem. Everything worked, but I had errors about path not found. When I opened up the .tscn file in VS Code to see the text, there were references to the not found paths that I couldn't see in Godot idle. When I opened up the .tscn file, at on ready variable player or variable source sort equals get underscore node v. Short sort. Not declared in current scope. Still says short sort. Wait, so let's see. Does that work? I don't think that's gonna work. If that works, then wow. Didn't think so. Maybe ChatGPT's got the answer. What does this error mean? Revoke unique name. Okay, so within level 1, it's a child. I'm pretty sure it is a child. How to call a child of a character body 2D in Godot 4. How to call a child node in Godot 4. Godot 4 calling function of a child node. You could reference to a node by calling the node. I think this will work. I'm pretty sure. That does work, I guess, but it's constantly just going downwards. So like, what if it's like no matter where I hit it, it's still constantly going down. And ChatGPT told me that the knockback direction is the enemy global position minus the player enemy global position. And then they apply enemy.apply impulse vector 20 knockback direction. And variable enemy. So we would need the knockback direction. I think we could just do something like this. Apply impulse vector 20 knockback direction, and then I named mine knockback power, something like that. Yeah. So maybe actually what we have to do is vector 2, or actually what the fuck was it? Yeah, vector 20 times, I guess, times knockback power. And then we should be able to get rid of this. Let's see what that does. Which I feel like it's gonna send him flying. The slime's gonna go crazy. Well, I like that. Okay, so what's happening though? Variable knockback direction. The sword's global position minus the enemy's global position. the velocity. Okay, well, let's try this. Because it's probably, since the vector 2, 0 is times, it's probably making everything 0. Yep, I figured that was gonna happen. Okay, let's drop the power down to let's just say like 5 or something. See, and like no matter what, he always goes that way. Knockback direction. Maybe I should do the global rotation? I feel like that's kind of strange, but let's see what that does. Oh. Invalid. Float in vector 2 operator. Okay. Slime underscore jumped. Knockback direction, knockback power. But either way, it's still just always going downwards. So at least it's getting the sword's position. But it's not... Huh. Maybe I need to do local position. Can I do local position with global position? I don't know if that changes anything. Local position on area 2D. Okay. Global position. Maybe I need to type in something different. How do I create a knockback function with a sword that that is a area 2D. Okay. Attach an area 2D node to your sword sprider model. Configure its collision shape to cover an area. Ensure that the area detects collisions with the enemies by setting the appropriate collision layers and masks. Detect collision with enemies. Connect the bodied entered signal of the area 2D to function in your script. If body is in group, assuming enemies are in group name enemy, knockback enemy. Apply knockback force. Enemy global position. This seems easy, actually. Signal handler for body entered. Function on area, okay. If body is in group, how do I make a group? How do I make groups in Godot form? Creating group is similar to versions of Godot, but with some changes. Accessing the group manager. Project settings, the group tab. And process. Project settings. I don't see a group tab. Select the groups tab. What? Make that 60. What's going on? Yeah, save that. Hmm. You could add nodes in the current scene to groups using the group tab in the node doc. Select one or more nodes in the scene doc and write the group name in the field. We'll call this one enemy. Add. And then after that, you should now see the group appear. I feel like I could do this on the weapon. Right? The weapon. So I need to add node. I think child entered. Hmm. All right, let's see. Well, something's working. We know this stuff is working at least. But here, I don't know if it is working. Let's type in debug underscore, right? Print debug weapon entered. There's no, it's not registering. Function on weapon child entered tree. What other nodes are there actually for this? Hmm. I don't know why it's still there, but whatever. Okay. Huh. Man. Function unsort entered body. Okay, well, let's see. Print debug entered. And I grouped it right? Like in level 1. I have a group called enemy, but how do I assign the group? Oh, wait a second. Enemy. Add. Okay. I think this will work. If not, I gotta call it a night for game design for now. Dang. That sucks. Enemy. Add. Save. That could do it too. I'm not getting any output, so it's not even registering that it's even entering the body. Area body entered. So am I doing the wrong one then? I guess this one should be first. Yeah. Or actually, let's disconnect this one. Okay. Nothing still. Function on sword body entered. Hey guys, I didn't know you both were in here. Let's see, enemy. Man, this is really confusing. If the sword is a child of a character, do I do anything differently? If the sword is a child node of a character node, you can still implement the knockback functionality in a similar manner. However, you'll need to access the sword node through its parent character node. Instead of detecting collisions with the sword node directly, you need to access it through the character node. You can assign the sword node to groups just like any other node. When a collision is detected with the sword, you'll apply knockback to the enemy relative to the sword's position, which will be a child of the character. Assuming the sword is a child of the character node, on ready variable sword. Body entered. We assume that the sword is a child of the character node, and we access it using the onReady variable sword. But are we doing the signaling from the sword? Okay, yeah. I think everything's fine here. We just maybe need to do the sword instead. So at on ready variable sword, right? Or sword is equal to node path money sign. Okay, and blah 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 blah. Sword dot global position. Do we put the sword in a group? It said you can assign the sword node to groups. When a collision is detected with the sword, you can assign the sword node to groups just like any other node. Do I need to assign the sword to a group? Depends on your game's requirements, how you plan to use the group with your project. Interesting. Let's try this. It's a little laggy. Dang. If body is in group enemy, which we know that can happen. If the body is in group enemy, it's still not even like colliding for some reason. Maybe I could do it backwards. Hey, don't eat the plastic. Silly. Okay. On hurt box area entered. Yeah, I mean, knockback. Huh. Let me try stopping this stuff. I don't think it's gonna work. I mean, it's gonna work, but it's not gonna work the way I want it to. And it always goes down no matter what, even if I hit him that way. I don't understand. The sword's global position. Can we do the sword's dot velocity? Or velocity dot sword? Sword dot hmm. But I can't do global. Shouldn't I do normalize the both versions too, though? Right? I don't even know anymore. Now I gotta change the player script because they're doing all kinds of crazy stuff now. No, actually. Okay. Delete the group. Manage groups. How do I... Why can't I delete this one? Weird. Okay. Man. Okay. Alright, yeah, let's try that now. Print. Wait, what is it? Debug. Calculation. Okay, so the only problem really is that because it used to be oh man, what was it? Yeah, it was the enemy velocity. But before that, it was just she had it over here.
And I also add an extra empty print to make it easier to.
Yeah, it was just negative velocity. So let's see what happens if we get rid of normalized. But I don't think the position could. Okay. Can we do sword dot velocity minus velocity? Is that possible? It'd be crazy if we could do that, and that's all I needed to do this whole entire time. Oh. Velocity. Invalid get index. There is no velocity on the sword. Well, but I could do the player velocity, which if I'm not moving, it won't really do anything. That's so weird. Sword distance. Oh. What is move and collide? That's so weird that you can't like search for it sometimes. I don't know why it's not working. It's definitely not move and collide. Sword dot. man. Man, I don't know. Set scene instance, tree entered, unique name and odor, import path. Get. I really don't know, man. I feel like I'm about to watch a whole nother thing. Knockback tutorial. Using enemy velocity. See, she's using a collision for the player to get knocked back. Like, see, it's pushing her away, not the enemy. Which... Okay, let's look at her tutorials. Maybe there's one for the enemy. How to change scenes in Godot. Top-down movement. Click and move items. How do you create melee combat? I feel like this is what it's supposed to be. But they have death animations. See, their slimes just like explode. How to create knockback in Godot 4. I gotta let these cats out. Knockback effect using tween animation. This one might be a good one.
I want to show you how you can use tweens inside of Godot to add an animated knockback, even for a kinematic character, such as one set up using the character body 2D. This is the knockback declared up here. The power knockback, which gets applied in velocity here. We start that at the knockback strength. So I'm using this as the initial speed of the knockback. And then in order to decrease it over time to give us our little animation, we use a tween. So to create a tween, you do git tree create tween. In Godot 4, this isn't a node you actually add to the scene hierarchy, but it's something that you declare in code like this. So we declare a tween, and then once that tween is created, we can use it to change a property over time to animate it. So before I talk about these two, let me just go ahead and hit play one more time, and I'll hit the enter key, and that's the animation we're getting. So the movement is created by tween property called on the knockback tween, and I'm referencing the object self. So that's the object of the script, the player.gd, a property on the script. So that's knockback, once again declared up here at the top.
It's not exactly what we need. Adding knockback in combat. Here we go.
So here we are in Godot. In this episode, I'm going to teach you how to make knockback. Nothing fancy. It will not have any acceleration, any friction. It will just be immediate movement. So go to your entity-based script. Here we need to define two variables. A boolean variable receives knockback and a float variable knockback notifier. The names are pretty straightforward, right? Now, we need to make a separate method for our knockback. Let's name it receive knockback, and it will receive two values. One of them vector 2 that defines the damage source position, and the second will be the received damage. And here we will calculate the knockback and then apply it to our global position. Here it is. First we check if it can be knocked back, then we calculate the direction based on the direction from the damage source to the position of the entity. We calculate the strength of the knockback, and then we multiply these two values to find the vector that can be applied later to the global position. And now we can use it in our Herdbox area entry method. However, there is a problem. The actual damage is being calculated in the function receive damage, but this function does not have the access to the hitbox. As you can see, the enemy is moving slightly, and well,
It's 22
Hello,
minutes.
everybody, and welcome to the Zero channel where I'm going to go knockback because many people have been asking about knockback. So I thought I would make this video and explain everything and do a break an example after this. Press, and we'll go UI accept. This will be our attack button, and then actually let's not make a new button. Let's just go into our physics file over here instead of this printing. We'll just do emit signal and then knockback. So it will emit our signal knockback. And let's go to our world. Let's click on our player. Let's go to mode. Let's click on knockback. And then let's signal this to our enemy script. So basically, when we get the function, which means we need to do our knockback, and we'll do in here.
Man, I might be too tired to do this.
Got a variable knockback direction, and we got bar knockback. This is just gonna be a true or false here. This bar knockback. So we got function on player knockback. Let's see. So we need variable player direction.
I just feel like it's so complicated for something so simple. Let's see. Maybe I could just type it in. How to add a simple knockback feature in Judo 4. If you are using a kinematic body to be 2D, how to knock back with a area 2D Judo 4. How to implement a 2D knockback effect. I recommend using the system enemy movement vector equals to player bullet dot global position dot direction to create an area 2D, call it whatever you call the area entered signal in this case. Hurt box. Make it have its own collision layer and collision shape, then make the hitbox of whatever attack or enemy collision mask to that layer. You could also add something like monitoring and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. That was also 3 years ago. Variable player to bullet player. Dot global position dot direction 2. Function on hurt box area entered. Maybe I could do this. Global position is equal to knockback. We'll change, yeah, knockback power is only 5 right now. We'll change it to 100 because I don't know the effects of what's going on fully. Okay. So sword global dot position minus global position. So the position of the sword minus the position of the player will be right. That makes sense, right? Variable knockback direction. So when you swing the sword, the knockback function activates. So it's getting the knockback direction, which is where the sword is minus where the position is, right? Because that's what you normally do. Player dot velocity minus equals to knockback. On hurt box hit. Variable hit direction. Velocity. Okay, so no, it would be velocity still. Velocity. But on hurt box area entered. Damage. Hit position. Okay. Function on hurt box area entered. Area. If area is equal to knockback. So we need how to get the, what would that even be called? The point at which an area is entered. How to get the position at which an area is entered in Godot 4. How do I get the position of an object that is entered in area 2D? If you don't know how the function onBodiedEntered gives you the body that entered, so you can tell it to set the body the type, so you type if body.name is equal to the name position body.global position. And if you want to get several positions without creating a lot of variables, would this work similarly on an instantiated object? Because fruit in this case is in a different scene entirely and will be spawned in. Okay, so hi, I'm currently making a simulation game involving creatures, and I have this kinematic body 2D with the site area 2D attached, and I have a piece of fruit. Is there any way I can get the position of the fruit once it enters the area without it telling me via a file or something? Because I realized that if I want to use files, I would have to have a different file for every creature in place of fruit. But then I would have to send the file path in a file, and then to make that file random, I would have to make yet another file. Get collision point or something. In area 2D, it's not a collision, it's a body enters an area. This is probably one of those problems with multiple solutions, but if you get the shape of the rigid body 2D, I know physics 2D direct space state has something interesting methods like collide shape, get rest info. Okay. Did you try body.global position? Only kinematic bodies can get a collision object containing the info, either by using move and slide or move and collide. You won't get that info from the body entered signal. For a rigid body, you'd have to do a raycast in your onBodiedEntered method towards colliding body. Or I added small areas. I found the links in your comment that were not hyperlinked. I did the honors for you. The function you're looking for requires some extra steps, sadly. It's under shape 2D with all its collide methods. So you basically take a shape 2D and compare it with another shape 2D. It's much harder than that though. To get a shape 2D from a collision body 2D, you need to use the shape owner shape. Get the body shape entered signal. Here's a rough way to do it in the physics process. Oh man. Yeah, there's body shape entered. Nothing really seems like exactly what I need. Man. And right now, with the way things are working, it's not working. Okay. Can't I just like apply? How to make enemies knock back in Godot 4. How to add a knockback. How to make an enemy give knockback to the player. I mean, I don't know how to do that. How to add knockback to player. What is lerping? I don't even know what lerp means. Oh my gosh, there's no simple like fix here. Everything's super complicated.
Yo, what's up? At the end of this tutorial, you'll be able to use a knockback effect to include two variables that calculates the player's direction and is moved and flying by a kinematic body. If you don't check the link, there's a link to a performer character, also source code for this project, and assets. Okay, let's get straight to business. First, create a new vector 2 variable. I call my recursion, or you can call your retardation or something else.
Okay.
Or you can just follow down. I wasn't thinking situation I recorded this video. Create another variable. I call mine not first, and I set mine to 10 for now. Now for us to see what's going on, let's add a timer node. I set this wait time to 1. Click auto start and connect this timer signal. Now let's put some code further. First, we set our velocity.x 0 because we want this to occur even when we are pressing an input. Next, we subtract our not first from our repulsion or retardation, and we move and slide the repulsion whenever the timer times out. If you run the scene, you see the player move at every 1 second. If you press a button, it also does that. Now, you might ask, why don't we just subtract not force from velocity.x instead of creating a new vector 2 variable? Note that we are already moving and sliding velocity. If the timer times out, even if it was just for a second, the player would continue moving backwards until we press an input. And it might also ask, how do we knock back from the right or left? That's simple. You just use the animated sprite offset to the page. If you want me to make a tutorial on that, let me know. And I use this in my Holy Cross game, but the knock force only occurs when we press fire and after the cooldown is finished. Alright, that's it. Hit the like button.
I cannot understand anything this guy said.
Now for us to see what's going on, let's add a timer node. I set this wait time to 1. Click auto start and connect this timer signal. Now let's put some code further. First,
So he's doing. But can you use move and slide? I guess I could, huh? Okay, so Velocity? Can I do that? Okay. Negative velocity. Knockback direction. What the? Wait, why doesn't it work? Expected at most 0, but received 1. Wait, how is this guy doing that then? Move and slide. Who knows how old this video is too? 2021. I mean, this was probably the best video. I mean, this is probably the best. Oh, man. Allergies are crazy. Oh. Ah. Okay. I mean, that works. Except, dude went super far away. Knockback power, we'll just say 5, I guess. I don't know. Like, I feel like it's way too far. See, like, why is he doing that? Like, that's so weird. Maybe there's just a way where let's say 25, like off the rip. What the heck? Where did he go? Okay, so yeah, maybe we don't need the hurt timer. Oh wait, I think we used that though for the blinking effect. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that works. Why was that so hard to figure out? Like, I don't even really understand fully like what happened there. What? What happened, man? Why was that so hard? It took me almost 3 hours. 3 hours to figure that out. Terrible. 3 hours, man, to figure out. Like, I didn't even change anything, really. Now my thing is the sword. Like, it's constantly like I need to make the sword a null, or maybe it's possible. Because, like, okay, like, you know how, like, the sword isn't visible right now. But, like, if I were to be like, see, the sword's still there. Oh my god. Wait, how do we get that one glitch going? Oh my god, that's crazy. Okay. So the sword's still there. How do I make it to where the collision won't work unless he swings? Okay, so for the weapon, for the player, when the player attacks, weapon dot visible. What does making an item or a object null do in Godot 4? What does null mean? There was no memory allocation to hold value for that variable. How do I turn off? How do I temporarily disable? How do I temporarily disable collision detection? She's set shapes disabled property to true. Look at the documents. It has a disabled property that you modify. Maybe you could set the collision mask or layer to something with nothing else in it, but I don't know. Okay, so I can do just disable. Documents. Disable. I'm just gonna try it. Let's see. So for the, we're just gonna say on ready, perhaps. Function ready. Sword is equal to disable mode. Oops. Disable. What? Defines the behavior in physics when node.process mode. Man, figuring certain things out is so difficult sometimes. Dot disabled. Oh wow, sword dot disabled is equal to true. All right, let's see. How to disable a weapon in Godot 4. If probably just have a separate boolean for where you want to disable the input event and check for both when you check for input. It's not pretty, but I'm sure there's a better way to do it. You can also disable the process function on nodes that, if you want, with node. Okay, yeah, I guess like let's see, attack. Okay, so if area is equal, and we gotta create a variable, I think, for the player. If the is attacking, so if is attacking, if is attacking is true or is false, if is attacking is false, then don't. Okay, so if is attacking is true, then okay, so how do you grab stuff from the script? How do you grab another variable? How do you grab a variable from another script in Godot 4? It's very likely that you don't want to do what you're trying to do A better approach might be to use events called signals. Would you suggest doing a similar thing with the position of the player for enemies? How to access the variable of another script? Your project has started getting complex. You have multiple scenes, lots of nodes, okay. Get node, get tree. If you do this, you'll find that node references like this break easily as soon as you change one thing about your scene tree. And none of these references may be valid anymore. As a general rule, nodes should manage their children. Okay. It's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for getting a script variable. How do you pass a variable one script to another? You could use auto upload to accomplish it. In project settings, auto load, add the town script file and enable it. Any variables and functions in your auto load will be accessible from anywhere, so you can do in main script. Town script. Class name town. Oh boy. Is there a YouTube video? Okay, I've already watched one.
You will come into a situation where you want to transfer data between two or multiple files. There are three popular ways to transfer data between files. First way to create is a global variable. Second is to transfer data with signal, and at last with the help of functions. This method come in handy when you want to share the global variable and access that in all the scene. You can create global script that will contain all the global variable. Here I have two scripts, script 1 and script 2. Now I create a new script and I will name this global script. Inside this, we write all the variable that we want to access from the other script. Now to make this script global, go to project setting, then go to auto load tab and click on the folder icon, and then select that global script. Select the name by which you want to access the script. Once you're done, click add. Now all the variable inside the script is available globally. Now to access the variable, you have to write the name that you choose for the script. I have written global, so I will write global dot and then the variable name. Now keep one thing in mind, that it is the easiest way of sharing variable, but it is not effective way, since all the global variables will present in the memory all the time, even if you want to use only a couple of them. This led to memory wastage. The second scenario is when you want to transfer one or two variables within the same scene. Like here, when we hit by the enemy, we want to decrease the player health. The player detection is on the enemy script and the player health is on the player script. In that case, you can use signal from the enemy and connect it to the player script, and also transfer the damage value with the signal. So first, create a signal and add the variable that you want to transfer. Then emit the signal you created and transfer the value that you want to share. Now connect the signal with the node that you want to receive the data. And now you have the value transferred in the script through the signal. The third scenario happened when you want to share some data, but you cannot connect the node by signal.
Okay.
Whatever game you are creating, you will. The third connect the node by signal or not, but the bullets are added to the game on the runtime, so you can't connect the signal to the enemy node. In that case, you can create a function inside enemy script that take data as an argument. So first create a function that take data as an argument. This function can be called.
The first one did seem the easiest, but that's not how I want to do it. Like, I came from Unity, and accessing scripts from other scripts was easy. Get the node that has the variable, then reference it like any other property. On ready, okay, variable property. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's easy. Did he do on ready again? Oh no, he just did a variable. Wait, why are we using export? Export is only supported in node-derived classes. Mark the following property as exported, editable in the inspector doc and saved to disk to control the type of exported property. Man, I feel like I need a lot of like just foundational like programming knowledge. Okay, so we'll just say variable player attack. Our variable player is attacking is equal to player dot is attacking. Player is attacking is equal to player dot is attacking. Okay, so if and player is attacking is equal to is not equal to no, that's so true, yeah. OnReady variable player is equal to player. OnReady variable player is equal to variable property is equal to player dot property. Invalid get index. Well, I guess that's the node, right? Do I have to do @unready for this one too? Oops. I'm fairly, how I do that? I already did refresh the page. Variable property is equal to some property. OnReady variable player is equal to player. Variable property equal to player dot prop. I mean, like I did this.
And once we have our script, we want to go to project settings, go to auto load. We have to choose our script to auto load and make sure it's enabled. We'll go ahead and close this. You can see I just add a coin in our global script and we have a coin variable. I then call the global singleton add coin, call that function, and add to our global wallet whenever we press the button.
Man, access variables from another script in Godot. Get node. Now you're looking for player dot is attacking. Okay. Is equal player is attacking. So is attacking. Oh my gosh, the simplest of things. If area and player is attacking. And it starts off as true, right? Like I think I made player attacking true. Is attacking is false. Okay, yeah. Which that's what we want. So if I haven't attacked, but he's still getting hurt, then that's not changing anything. Okay, actually, oops. X. If area I'll do another if statement inside of an if statement. If player attacking is true, then do this. Expected indent. Oh, like that. No. No, if player is attacking is equal to true. Man. Oh, maybe I need like another. No. Expected statement found indent instead. I guess do I need to do this kind of thing? Expected okay, maybe now it'll work. There we go. Oh, it's working, but it's not working now. Okay. It's equal to true. Now let's just say I set this to is attacking to true. Right? Let's just test it out. Let's see if it works. What the? I can't even move now. Do I have my moving stuff set? If is attacking is equal to false. Oh. False. So if area, then return if player attacking is equal to true. And player attacking is equal to true when he attacks, but it's not very long that it's true. But it should still be long enough to change up everything, right? There's gotta be a way. Right. I need to go to bed. Holy crap. Okay, well, how about this? How about I'll create another variable. So I'll create a variable called variable has been hit. Equal to false. Okay, so we'll do if has been hit is equal to false, then do this stuff. And then after the hurt sound, the hurt timer, and the reset, then assignment is not allowed inside an expression. Oh yeah, if is equal to false. And then set has been hit equal to true, right? Yeah. So, but once it's equal to true, how do I reset it? I think what I need to do is, let's say, false. Hurt sound, and then once the hurt timer starts, we'll still say, we'll say that it's true, and then once it hits here, we'll say that it's false again. Okay, I think that should, oh my god, I gotta go pee. I think that should allow me That doesn't necessarily work how I want it to. I gotta go to the bathroom really quick though. I'm back. So okay, so it starts off as false. He has not been hit. So actually, variable is attacking is equal to player dot is attacking. And if is attacking is true, then but it's like, this is what I just did, right? Oh. If is attacking is true. What the? I want to watch the video that this lady made. And I don't have it up here anymore. Crap. Okay.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to my series on how to make an app. Hi.
Melee combat. Attack animation. It's going to be in one of these two.
This thing as the slime's hitbox. But I think that we have a few bugs we need to fix. First, we can sometimes hit the slimes even when we aren't using the sword. This seems a bit odd, but it's easy to fix. The problem is that while we do make our weapon invisible, we are actually not disabling it. So we are constantly running around with a sharp sword at our side, which the slimes can then run into. Poor little slimes. Okay, so to disable the sword correctly, we need to go to the sword scene and add a script to the roof. Here we add an enable and disable function.
Oh.
And we also need a reference to the sword's collision shape. In the enable function, we then set the shape's disabled property to false, and in the disable function, we set it to true.
Okay. Well, that's different. I'm trying to do all these complicated things here. Yeah. Okay. I think that's how. Okay, everything needs to go back one. Okay. Everything's good. Okay. So we need to actually go to the sword. And we need to... yeah, create a sword function. Okay, I'm gonna drag this over to my other monitor. Okay, so at ready variable shape is equal to collision shape 2D. Function enable shape dot disabled equal to false. Function disable shape dot disabled is equal to true. Okay. Ooh, not diable. Disable.
Back in the player script, we also need to add a script to the weapon node. Here we add a variable called weapon, and we want this to be an area 2D for...
Wait, we also gotta go...
for now. We then
variable weapon area 2D function underscore ready.
and create a ready function where we check if the weapon node has any children. And if this is the case, we assign the first child as the weapon. We also add enable and disable functions here. And in the enable function, we set the visibility to true and call the enable function on the weapon. And in the disable function, we set visibility to false.
How do people figure out all this stuff, man? This is insane. Like, even though I've kind of been like I've made a couple games before. I made them in Unity. But man, this is like next level stuff to me. function enable. Like, why do we have to do an enable function and a disable function in both the weapon and the sword? Okay. Visible. If get children dot is underscore empty. Why is it not working? Get children. What the?
And call the disable function on the weapon. For both functions,
Weapon dot disable.
we also first check that they're
If weapon return, what does that even mean? Oh, no. If
there actually is a weapon. In the player script, we then replace the two lines where we set the weapon's visibility before, and then instead we call the enable and disable functions on the weapon. This fixed our first little bug.
That's what she has there.
But, oh well, we still have more to do. Because even if we hit the slime and it should be dead, we can still lose a heart if we get too close. We then replace both functions. We also, and in the enable function,
If get children parentheses dot is underscore empty. Why isn't it working? I'm not really sure. Man. Is anybody else having the same problem? Function get children not found in base self. Maybe I can just, if is empty, maybe I can just do that and then do this v v v Wow. Okay, that works. I just don't know why it works. So we had to go function enable, function disable, function enable. So if there is no weapon, what? That's such a confusing system. I don't get it at all. I'm gonna let this cat in. Okay. Okay, so it works. I just don't understand it at all. If, like, she did not explain what was going on.
We set the visibility to true and call the enable function on the weapon. And in the disable
Which I'm also realizing.
set visibility to false and call the disable function on the weapon. For both functions, we also first check that there actually is a weapon.
So if there's not a weapon, then return. Okay, that makes sense. If there's not a weapon, return.
In the player script, we then replace the two lines where we set the weapon.
So, okay, I guess I get it. But why did we set this up? Shape disabled. I don't get this part. Like, how is this being accessed? Oh, it must. I wonder if it's because it's a child. Weapon, get children. Huh. Maybe. Not fully sure. But it works. So that's all that matters. For now, at least, I gotta learn better programming skills. But now, I feel like it's attacking too many times. So how do we, well, I need to go to bed, man. Okay, I'm just gonna call it here. That's what's like the thing about this coding thing is I can just keep on going. Like I'll just non-stop, because I just want to keep on figuring it out. But yeah, this stream was kind of weird. I don't know how I'm gonna continue these because I feel like it's hard to learn while streaming. But I'm gonna try to keep it going, I guess. I don't know. Let's see where